You just tell me when we are live. That's all.
We are live now.
Okay. We can start now. Okay. Good afternoon. I am Kumar Vikram. I am senior editor at National Book Trust India and also look after the international programs. And you are here in this session, which is being organized during the New Delhi World Book Fair, the virtual edition, which is happening from 6 March to 9 March. And today we have a very significant program being organized by the French Institute, the Embassy of France in New Delhi, and BIEF, and along with National Book Trust India on French book market. And I have the pleasure to welcome our guests of this session. Mr. Nicolas Roche from BIEF. He will be making a presentation on French publishing industry. So it will be in fitness of things if I read a brief about BIEF as well as Mr. Nicolas. For 140 years, BIEF has been promoting French publishers' creations on the international scene. A professional organization, it counts 280 publisher members and enjoys the support of the C&L Center National de Lever. Our activities are organized around 5 main poles: presence at international book fairs, publication of bilingual catalogs providing information about French books, research and organization charts representing the publishing market around the world, meetings and seminars where publishing professionals can exchange views and experience on their profession and take part on B2B meetings, training and networking publishers and book sellers all around the world. Being represented by Mr. Nicolas. Experience in publishing. The first editor at Gallimard, he then had sales responsibilities in several publishing houses, including Rex, Conversing with him is our good friend, French Institute in. She has a doctorate in history and civilization, is a university, and has directed the research masters on contemporary Asia at ENS in Lyon. In 1981, she took the Trans-Siberian Railway to Beijing. The following year, she has spent 3 months in India between Punjab, Kashmir, and Ladakh. Since then, she has never ceased to be interested in these two countries. Her research focuses on the contemporary history of China, and in particular on Shanghai and the French concession. From archives to testimonies of former Frenchmen in Shanghai, she uses all material, especially the photographic medium, as a source of historical analysis. She is the author of several books, including, pardon my French pronunciation, including Chronique photographique de la concession, Francaise de Shanghai, 1849 to 1949, Paysans de lutte, Chene, Les Voix Incense du Pere des Revers de Monet, and also a book on the economic reforms of China. She was the book attaché in Beijing from 2006 to 2010 and currently heads the Books and Ideas Office at the French Institute in India, Embassy of France. Welcome, Christine, once again to this platform of National Book Trust and the New Delhi World Book Fair. And we are really very happy that the Embassy of France is organizing this conversation, that significant conversation, which would be of use to not only Indian publishers, but to anybody who is interested in knowing about the French book market. So I believe over to Christine to start the proceedings of the program. Thank you.
Who is speaking?
Christine, c'est à toi, je crois.
It's Christine Cornet.
Okay, I'm the first to present the policies of the Book Office, or
As you like it.
no? First of all, I wanted to warmly thank all the NBT team for organizing this session. And it's really a challenge to have this New Delhi World Book Fair online, but we are very pleased to collaborate with you and to be present during this session with Nicolas Roche, the president of the International Association of Publishers. So I think it will be better to start with you, Nicolas, to have the framework of the French industry market. And then I will precise the policies of the Book Office of the French Institute in India. Again, thank you so much, NBT. Thank you, Mr. Kumar Vikram. Thank you, Kanchana. And thank you, Nicolas Roche, and also your team. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Yes, I'm very impressed to be with you this morning in Paris. Thank you, Kumar Vikram. It's always a pleasure to have a discussion with you. Thank you very much, Kanchan Sharma, and all the people of NBT. It's a great honor to be with you. Usually, I'm at the New Delhi Book Fair, but this year, of course, once again, it's a bit difficult. We were in New Delhi last year. It was one of the only one events we were able to go through in January 2020, and you know, we are coming with the French Institute in India at the New Delhi Book Fair for years and years now, and we're always very pleased to come and see our colleagues, our partners in the Indian publishing industry. So I'm here to give you quick informations about the French market. I'm not going to step back to what we are doing for the French publishers, as Kumar Vikram presented our actions for nearly 150 years now. We're trying to help French publishers to do business abroad, meaning particularly for decades now, for the people in charge of the rights department. As you may know, French is still the second most translated language after English worldwide. More than 13,000 titles were translated from French to foreign languages in 2019. We are actually collecting the numbers, the figures for 2020, as in many book markets. Of course, things have changed a lot last year, as in many countries, bookshops were closed temporarily or not, and people have completely rescheduled their publications, and for some publishers, they have launched very few titles last year. So 2020 is, of course, a very difficult and very strange year for our markets. So, as I'm not really familiar with WebEx, I will try to share my screen, and it may be a kind of magic if it works. Can you just let me know if you see something? I hope so. Christine, do you see the slides? Yes?
Yes, we are
Yes.
able to
Okay.
see it. That's
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, as your microphone were off. Yes, let me give you some key figures and orally about the main editorial trends. So this is the figures for 2019. I just wanted to focus that, of course, book sales is a huge majority of the turnover of the publishers, but I wanted to focus that right sales, it's not that bad. It's around more than 5% of the turnover of the publishers, meaning that doing business abroad is very important in our publishing industry. And the figures, this is 2019, but we already know that in 2020, in such a terrible year, the book market was quite so good. We had different periods in 2020, from March to beginning of June. All bookshops, all independent bookshops were closed for nearly 3 months. And then they were closed again from the end of October to the very beginning of December. So last spring, publishers and bookshops were very pessimistic about their turnover, but during summer, and particularly at the end of last year, during December, there was an incredible movement, and people bought a lot of books during summer and for the Christmas period. So the market was just low by 3%, between 3 and 4%, which is an incredible success for all the publishing industry, and a very unexpected result for the French publishing industry. You know that compared to the English language, most of our business, meaning the sales in the bookshops, are mostly in France and not abroad, compared to the English language, of course, sold in a lot of countries around the world, and notably in India. This is a quick look about the turnover, but it's a bit strange to compare all the things, because I don't really how to explain in 2016 why the turnover was so high, and why we're in a quite stable situation from 2014 to 18 and 19. But as you may see, it's quite stable compared to the other cultural markets like music, movies, and etc. Let's have a focus on by sectors. As you can see, literature, social and human sciences, nonfiction are doing very well, but children's books and comics books are also very important. And amongst the 13,000 titles sold, rights sold abroad from French language, nearly 60% of those 13,000 titles are children and comic books. So this is, they are very, very strong departments in France. As you may know too, we have for nearly 45 years now a very important paperback market. And as you can see, literature is representing 58% of this market. This is a lot, and children books also 16%. But the children books part of this breakdown is also depending of major successes like Harry Potter or others. But children books are once again doing very, very well in France, and there is a very known know-how of the children books and comics for years now, and we can see that in very specialized fairs around the world, like of course in Bologna in spring, usually in spring, and in China, in Shanghai at the very beginning of November. This is specialist fair for children books, and the French stand is usually absolutely overcrowded. Let's have a focus on e-book sales. Of course, academic and professional books are doing very, very well in the e-books, like for Write or economics and etc. But for literature, it's still quite low, below 5%, and you can see that the average is around 7%. Of course, it's increasing, but not that much in the 2 last years. Of course, things have changed in 2020 with those bookshops closed for a few years, but we can see that it has increased the sales of Amazon's and Amazon likes companies selling books directly to your home. But yeah, of course, it has increased ebook sales, but not as much as we thought during last spring. It has also increased audiobooks market. Audiobooks is still quite low compared to other markets like the German one or the American one or Swedish or other major book markets for audio sales. But of course, 2020 has been a turning point for audiobooks. So we'll have much more information about this in the forthcoming weeks with a lot of surveys with our members. And of course, market players, we have a lot of authors, 60,000 authors in France, including 5,000 living exclusively on their copyright income, and a lot of royalties paid by the publishers. Sorry, I've got a quite, it's not a new figure for the publishers, but I will give you more information if you want by email or through the French Institute. There are a lot of publishing companies compared to our market and the size of our population. Do remember that we have a little more than 60 million inhabitants in France, but only 1,000 have a regular and significant activity, what we call a catalog, and 10 publishing groups are representing 88% of the market. So you can see that some major groups like Hachette Book Groups or ADTs or Madrigal, including Gallimard and other brands, are representing a lot of the French market. And it's the same, and it's completely different, of course, from the Indian market. We have very few distributors, as we are distributing only one language, and as France is, of course, much smaller than India, and we have 10 distributors providing physical and financial flows, representing quite the whole of the publishing industry in France. Market players too, of course, the retailers. There are a lot of book outlets, including independent bookstores, press houses, supermarkets, and we'll have some slides of those different types of book outlets, 30,000. This is a lot, once again, compared to the French territory, and 2,500 bookstores, including what we were calling first level, meaning that they are doing a lot of the turnover for the publishers. So this is quite a lot. More than 16 libraries in France. Once again, it's a lot of public libraries. Some of them, of course, are private libraries, but most of them are public libraries. And as you can see, they are purchasing a lot of volumes of the French industry. This is the podium of the biggest publishers, the Hachette Book Group, as you know, also in India, but they are in England, and they are in one of the top American book group in America, including a lot of brands in fiction, non-fiction, illustrated. They are representing a lot of France as Editis number 2. Editis is now part of Vivendi group. Vivendi is a key player in the audiovisual sector, having TV channels and very soon radio channels, and they are producers, and they have a lot of medias. Media Participation number 3 is a key player in the illustrated books and comics market, but also in religious books, and they have bought one of the major independent literary company, Édition du Seuil, and its subsidiary. So it's quite a lot. Lefebvre Sarrut is a professional sector company. Madrigal is the name of the holding, having Gallimard and Flammarion and all their subsidiaries, and there are a lot. It's a little more than 2,000 people working in this group. Albin Michel is still an independent player. Riedel Elsevier Group is also professional. France Loisir is used to be Bertelsmann company, and you know, they are selling. They have bookstores. There are nearly 200 bookstores, but you have to be a member to be part of France Loisir. Actes Sud is one of the very few companies, very important companies, not having its headquarters in Paris, and Michel Lafon is still an independent company. So if you have a mapping of the French market, you can see on your right side in red, this is the Hachette Book Group with a lot of turnover, and they have a subsidiary all over the world, as I said, and still in Russia. They have joint companies in Lebanon, etc. On the left side, still in red, this is Editis. In the upper left side, Media Participation, Madrigal in the very center, etc., etc. But you can see also that there are a lot of independent companies, much smaller, but key players on the French market. Let's have a word on the sales channel. Bookshops are what we call the very first level, the 1,000 very first independent bookstores are representing 25% of the sales in France. What we call hypermarkets, huge supermarkets, I don't know what's the name in India, they're still representing 15%, but they are not on a very good trend. What we call specialized department stores, GSS in France, this is like the Fnac brand, and we'll have a quick view on this in a few minutes. And bookshops, what we call second level, plus the online, meaning Amazon and Amazon-like players are representing 30% of the sales. But the second level, there are a lot of shops like press shops, etc. So this is an illustration of what looks like in a hypermarket like Carrefour. And you may know it's a key player on those size of shops. This is the culture and media's corner on the huge Carrefour in France. Of course, they are focusing on bestsellers, literature, but not also on their key players also for children's department, publishers too. This is the specialist surface, like we call them in France. Like this is the Fnac, one of the Fnac. They have a lot of concepts in France. They are mostly in France, but they have also shops in Europe, for example, in Switzerland or Belgium, or in other French-speaking countries. This is what we call first level. This is one of the key players in the southeast of France, near the Lyon area, de Citre. This is an independent bookstore. It has been part of the Gallimard group for years now, and Le Divan meaning a sofa, and the very center of the bookstore. You can just lay on a sofa, take a book, and take your time, and talk to the people of the bookstore, of course. This is an independent one in the Marais, in a very hype area in the center of Paris. And of course, there are a lot of meetings. This is in Vincennes, in the suburbs of Paris. And this is an important player because they have a festival based on the American authors every fall in Vincennes. And of course, this is press shops. On the left side, you can see all the magazines, and they are focusing, of course, on the bestsellers and paperbacks a lot on the shops. We also have, and this is very important in France, and it's very important since 1981. Publishers fought for this law. We have a fixed book price, meaning that there's quite an equality of citizens, meaning that the price is the same everywhere in Paris and in all regions. It is trying to guarantee the editorial diversity, because the publishers are not competitive, are not trying to compete about the price, but they are trying to compete about the editorial diversity. And as it's very easy, and we think that it's very easy for the main player to compete only on the price, it would be very difficult for the small bookstores not able to compete about the price. So we still have a very dense network of bookstores thanks to this law. And it means also in its principles that the publisher is fixing the price of his books and not the bookstore. And the retailers can have only a maximum of 5% discount. So this is very low. And so bookstores are trying to compete only by their offer and not with their prices. And this is very important. This is the structure of the book prices in France. This is really an average. Of course, the bookshops has got a lot, and thanks to this offer, there's a huge diversity, and this is how the book market can still increase with those discounts made to the bookshops. The author, the illustrator, the translators got nearly 10%. The publishers and its editorial services around 17%. The printing 20%, and diffusion, it means the salesman about 6%, and distribution is 12%. So, and I don't want to take too much of your time, as Kumar Vikram gave you some quick informations just to illustrate what he told you. This is at the CNL an institution part of the French Ministry of Culture. We are usually organizing B2B meetings and presentations with the foreign publishers and with one-to-one meetings, as you can see on the right side. And we have a lot of programs proposed by the BIF, like fellowships, guided tours, and for publishers from all around the world. So that's it. I don't know how can I stop this? Yes. How can I? Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So this is very quick information about the French market. I will be very pleased to answer your question. I would just say that since last spring, we have organized a lot of webinars with a lot of key players from all around the world. And of course, you have your virtual edition in the New Delhi World Book Fair, but would be very happy to organizing, with the help of the French Institute in India, a lot of meetings between French and Indian publishers from all over India to give them informations and tips and all you want in order to connect and strengthen the relationships between our two countries. And we are very involved, and Christine and her team is very involved, and the NBT team, and thanks to the NBT, we are very involved to strengthen those relationships. And I hope that this year, unfortunately, I do think mostly in virtual, but next year in New Delhi, in other and various occasions, we'll be able to strengthen those relations for real, and we'll be able to shake hands once again. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, directly. Thank you so much, Nicolas, for this very interesting panorama of the French publishing market. And what I want to introduce is the policies of the book office. So I'm Christine Cornet, the head of the book office in the French Institute in India. And I will present our different segments of programs to again increase the cooperation between the French publisher, translators, authors, and the Indian publishing industry. So I will share also, share the screen with a PowerPoint. And let me know if it works.
It works.
It works. And do you have the plan page? Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, thank you so much. So first of all, I would like to, you can switch, yeah. Thank you again, NBT team, for inviting us. It's really an honor to be part of this online event, New Delhi World Book Fair 2021. So the French book office policy, we developed different tools. The first one, and quite well known by the Indian publisher, is the Publication Assistant Program, PAP Tagore. Then the Romain Rolland Book Prize for Translation. And this year, if I might say, thanks to the pandemic, we organize and create a new professional program for translators and for young publishers. So I would like to explain in a few words all this segment of policies. The Publication Assistant Program was created by the French Institute in France, in Paris. It started in 1990, and it's enabled over 25,000 titles by French language writers to be translated and published in almost 80 countries. In India, the program in India called Tagore Publication Assistant Program, PAP Tagore, is a support for Indian publishers who wish to publish French title, French book, into any languages, all Indian language, in English included, of course. And what we can observe is that since 2011, the demands are increased. It's an exponential evolution. We have 2 sessions per year, and we almost help. Depends. I will show you different data on this increasing demand. What we can say right now, it's more maybe the last 3 years, when I arrived 2.5 years ago. What I observe is an interest for translation directly from French into Indian languages, and not only from English version of French title. This is quite new, and this illustrates how we have a large panorama of Indian translators in different languages. Right now, we have 300 French titles translated into Indian languages. Most of them are focused on fiction, but not only. The last 2 years, the demand for non-fiction, social sciences, but also children books and comics, we have new demands. And this, I would love to really focus on this supporting program, financial supporting program for these 2 segments, because as you know, French publishers are very, very famous for books, children books and comics, but also Indian. You have also a huge market for the young population in India and for children and young adults. So I think we have to develop more cooperation in these 2 segments. For the fiction, it's like a tradition, if I may say. We have a variety of titles translated in different languages, Albert Camus or Leila Slimani. We have, we will celebrate the 200th birthday of Charles Baudelaire in next April. And I discovered that Charles Baudelaire is translated in Tamil, in Hindi, in English, of course, but also in Kannada, in Gujarati, etc. So it's very important also to mention this interest in different states in India for French literature, classical, but also modern and contemporary literature. We traditionally invite French authors in New Delhi World Book Fair, also with publishers. We invite authors, publishers, and translators. This invitation gave a real opportunity to promote the titles, to promote the French title, and to submit them for translation, and also for organizing different events, meeting and book launches for promoting the French literature. We organize every year book launches. Even during the pandemic, we have to create a new way of promotion online. So we organize book launches online, and it's very different. You can't meet the author, but the thing is that you can reach another audience. And sometimes we discover that we reach a largest audience online, but we have to really find a balance between physical events and hybrid events, online events. We worked with different structure for residencies for writers, but also for translators. We work with Tara Books and Gamma House when they welcome French illustrators, for example, or poets. But we also have residencies in French. We have a lot. But focused on foreign literature, we have Meet in Saint-Nazaire. Right now, we have one of Indian author, Prajwal Parajuli, who was invited in Nantes last November. And next month, we will welcome George Mathieu at Angoulême, you know, the city of comics, the city of BD, for a residency of 6 months. So I'm not sure that the Indian publishers are aware about all the possibilities of welcome their authors, their translators in France for a 1 month to 6 months residency. If we observe the evolution of the PAP Tagore, just when I arrived up to now, we have a regularly increase between 2017 and 2020. 2020, as you can observe, 45 titles. The average per year, it's between, it's around 20-25. But 45, it's really, I don't know if it's a new interest. I don't know if the impact and the positive impact of the pandemic, because people stay at home and maybe they had more time last year for reading the right catalogs, or for reading or collecting information about French title. But the fact is that we have a huge demand, and very interesting because we have social sciences, but also more comics among these 45 demands. So the new trend that we observe, it's more demand for translating, as I said before, directly from French into Indian languages. We also work with some Indian publishers who decided to have a niche of a French title, like the beginning of the series of French title. And for example, Rajpal and Son publisher with Patrick Modiano, translated in Hindi. You know, Patrick Modiano, even in the French readership, it's not all a reader who loves this kind of literature, but it's really important that we support as a French book office this kind of demand. We have also demand for comics, as I said before, and Home Books International with a series of Asterix albums. I think they already published four albums. We also have cooperation, but in Indian languages, because Asterix, it's in Hindi, I have to mention, it's in Hindi. And it was, we had a book launch as a residence of France 1.5 years ago. And the translator and publisher explained how it was difficult to catch the humor of Asterix. So it's this kind of challenge PAP Tagore will definitely support. With another Indian publisher, Seagull, based in Calcutta, we work together on the series of pocket books, and they create a special pocket books design for 100 French titles. we didn't, the French Institute didn't support all these 100 French titles, but we support the pocket books, and we will support the audio books of these same titles, because in India you have a demand for audiobooks. I don't know in terms of market, I don't know the percentage, but it's interesting to observe this maybe new opportunity also of audiobooks in India. Well, when you all know that the challenge of this collaboration is the translation and is the quality of the translation. To improve the quality of the translation, we, the French Institute in India and the Embassy, created in 2017 the Romain Rolland Prize. And this Romain Rolland Prize aims at awarding the best translation of French title into any Indian languages. Everybody knows that when you read a book, maybe you memorize the name of the author, but never the name of the translator. Even the name of the author, when it's foreign literature, it's sometimes difficult to memorize. So for us, the translator is also an author. And what we want to promote is really a variety of titles, a variety of Indian languages, because this multilingualism in India, it's really an opportunity for spreading French literature in different states. So we have an Indo-French jury who takes into account the qualities of the translation from French to Indian languages. And they try, because I'm not able to identify the best translation in terms of language or publication. So the prize is for the translator, but also for the Indian publisher, both of them. And the prize is a travel to Paris Book Fair every year for 1 week. And this is this kind of award. And it's an opportunity to have a professional meeting with BF and all the French publisher. So yeah, you can switch. Just an example of the winners of the Romain Rolland Prize. Traditionally, every year, between the New Delhi International Book Fair and Jaipur and Calcutta Book Fair, all the book fairs organized in India in January and February, we choose these last 3 years Jaipur Lit Fest to announce the winners of Romain Rolland Prize. This year, unfortunately, because most of the book fairs were online or hybrid, and we decided to announce the winners in Calcutta APJ Book Fair, because APJ is also our partner for the Romain Rolland Prize. So just an idea to the list of the winners. 2018, Patrick Modiano, published by Rashpal & Son and translated by Monica Singh in Hindi. And translating Patrick Modiano in Hindi, it's also a great challenge. The year after, La vie d'un homme inconnu, Andrei Makin in Tamil. Kalachuvadu has already a catalog of different French titles translated into Tamil. Asterix, I mentioned Home Books International and was also translated in Hindi. And this year, Le Mariage de Plaisir, Tahar Benjeloun, published by Tadagam and translated in Tamil. So this is, you know, maybe you are surprised because no English. We support a lot of French title translated into English, but the jury members, when they try to evaluate the quality of the translation, they consider that the translation from French into Indian languages were better compared to French to English. So that's new for us. It was a surprise for me to discover the quality of the translation of this Indian language. According to this experiment and experiences these last 3 years, and because during the pandemic, we didn't have the opportunity to meet each other, we were thinking about how to keep contact with the translators and how to improve the quality of the translation. So we organized in last October last year, the Translators Factory to train and encourage translators to translate from French into Indian languages, but also vice versa. So improving the quality of show and identify a new generation of translators. We want to create a community of translators and maybe a new generation. Of course, we have data of translators, already famous translators, but we really want to offer the opportunity of improving the translation. We started with 2 programs, one in Hindi with Animonto and Malayalam with Dominic Vitalios. We will start, I hope, in April, 2 programs in Tamil and Marathi. The thing is that online, of course, we have a small group of participants. It's a very good quality of exchange. It's on Zoom, but at the end of this process, Zoom workshop, we want to invite the translators in France and welcome the professor, the translator, the senior French translator in India, and have crossed residencies. So we work on it this year and next year. The other program that we created last year is a YOPP, Young Publishers Program. It's really a challenge because we also would like to create a community of Indian publishers interested, involved in French publishing collaboration. And so we selected last year 5 young Indian future publishers. They are not publishers, but at first we selected a young person who already have a certain level of French for the beginning. This is the first step. And we collaborate with Asfored. Asfored is a professional training publishing partner. And so they have since October or November, I don't remember when we started the program, still June, they have professional workshops. They have to work on different projects with Asfored and us. And then we hope to welcome them in a French publishing house, but we will probably postpone this internship according to the situation. But of course, we will organize this internship with French publisher. And maybe also we want to suggest to the Indian publisher to welcome these interns for maybe an internship in India with Indian publisher already involved in this Indian-French publishing collaboration. So these two programs, I mean, YOPP and Translators Factories, the objective is really to create also a community between them, between the translators and between the French and Indian publishers. This is, I hope, a large community in the coming years and a new generation of publishers and translators. Maybe you can see on the days the right catalogs. We prepare right catalogs on focus on 3 themes: women and empowerment, nature and environment, augmented humanity, and artificial intelligence. If you are interested in this catalog, we will send you online, but we can also send you the physical book, because it's we also we work with an Indian young designer who is also involved in publishing industry, Indian publishing industry. I think my time. Yeah, just this is the cover. You can next. Yeah, just to have an idea and to show you some translation in Tamil, in Hindi, and with Benjeloun, and we also have with Eric Orsena, Louis Pasteur biography in Tamil last year, but we have Modiano, etc. So thank you so much again, NBT team, for welcome us to this session. Thank you to my team, because it's a team initiative and team policies, and yeah, I'm available for question if any. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. I think it has been a very nice and great session because we have heard about the complete French book market situation from Nicolas, and about the and also about the bookshops and all that. Of course, the pandemic has changed the scenario everywhere as it is. And Christine, as you talked about a lot of things, yes, I think yes, very true. The audio format, audiobooks format, and other formats, everything. I think everybody is experimenting all across the globe with every format available. And also about the translations and all, I would like to tell you that it's very true what you said. Translating from Indian languages directly to French, yes, it is easier. It is pretty easier because I think we use the same kind of the language. I think your mic is on, so probably that echo is happening. Would you? Yes, now I think it would be clear. Is it clear now? Yes, yes. So yes, it is true. The translation directly from Indian languages to French is, yes, much easier, because I think both use the same kind of pattern that is there. And it is nice to know about the exchange programs, the residency, the interchange programs, collaborations, and more details about the French book market, wherein yes, we are already collaborating. A lot of publishers, Indian publishers, are doing, and a lot more are going to do. So I think it's a good preview to things that have been done and the things that will be done. And as you are inviting other publishers to come forward and participate in the kind of collaborations and the programs that you have put forth. So I'm sure that a lot of people will come forth, and we will take this collaboration, the Indian publishing industry and the French book market. I think we would go much ahead and see much more cultural and literary exchange between the two countries being served to our readers. That is what I would say. So I think thank you. I would like to say thank you. Yes, the time is almost up. So Thank you, Nicolas. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Sumit, our team, and also your team from both sides. And yes, let us see each other in 2022 in the physical book fair, which is going to be huge, big, and with France as the guest country. So we are looking forward to a better, bigger participation of French publishers and much more exchange and translations happening. So thank you. Have a very good day.
Thank you very much, Kanchan. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. It was very interesting, and we very much look forward to seeing you all again.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.